Hello, it is DAMM time. Give everybody a second to come on. How is everybody today? Let's see, trying to think of what I'm going to do for DAMM time today. Should we do an intention DAMM mandala? Maybe so. Why don't we do that? And okay, so let's get started. In an intention mandala. Hello, Rebecca. And we're going to do an intention mandala today. So remember, in an intention mandala, what we want to do is, think about, as we're going into it, the intention that we want to set, what we're thinking about. Just, it could be anything, grand, small, your intention for how you want to, get enough sleep tonight, whatever. But think about that intention, and then think about how that intention feels to you. Is it something that's very weighty and important? Is it something that's, very just lighthearted? Is something soft, something, just think about how that intention feels to you, and then think about how we can transfer that into a shape. So if it's something, just what comes to mind if I'm thinking about, trying to get more sleep or something in, intention focused around sleep. For some reason, what comes to my mind is a spiral. And you would think that would not be, because a spiral is a little, but for some reason the spirals to me just kind of mean, I guess, like spiraling down into sleep or something. I don't know. That's what came to my mind when I thought about that. So just using that kind of thing, just think about how your intention feels to you and how that is going to translate into a shape. And if you can't think of anything, just, doesn't make any sense or it just doesn't, you just cannot think of any associated shape, just start with something simple, like a circle or, a square or just a little flower shape or something. So since I mentioned the spiral, let's go ahead and start with that. So I'm taking it that all of you at this point have thought of your intention and the shape associated. Now you draw whatever shape you thought of in the middle. So you can draw my spiral also if you want. But whatever shape that you thought of, hello, Joanna, to associate with your intention, I want you to draw that one in the middle. That's your center. That's your point of reference. Hello, Amy. And so as we're going forward with the mandala, we'll keep glancing back into the center, reminding ourselves of that intention and using it to kind of just, keep focused. Hello, Erin, on what our intention that we set is, okay? So at this point, we have our own shape that's in the middle. Then you can go freehand, or you can just follow what I am going to do for the rest of the mandala, okay? All right, let's get started. Let's see, what am I going to make here? I think I'm going to, let's just do some petals. Just our basic flower petals to start. It's nice and easy. And they always look good. And remember, when we're making our lines, to really focus, hello Michelle, focus on the line work that we're doing. So, and again, if you are just coming for the first time, that means having a definite start and stop point to your line. So we start the line, draw the line, and stop. So that just keeps us very much focused. Hello, Louise. That just keeps us very much focused on the task, keeps us very mindful of the marks that we're making and the shapes that we're making on the paper. And so just keeping that in mind as we go around. And then let's see, let's make some of my little chubby triangles. So the chubby triangles are just like a triangle shape, just with kind of bowed out lines. So they just look like little chubby triangles. And so another thing to keep in mind, and this is just for kind of, the health of your wrist and just to, to help your lines and shapes look better, is to turn your page while you're drawing. So you can see that my hand stays in the same position. So I'm not, kind of doing this thing, which really wreaks havoc on your tendons and your wrist. So I don't always turn my paper doing the videos because I just have limited space here, and it's not that easy. But I try to as much as possible because my wrist gets really sore. There we go. And this is a good point to come in and remind you to not be a perfectionist here. You see how, this one looks completely different than the others. We're using this mandala exercise for mindfulness, for meditation. We're not trying to make high art. Hey, Juliana. And so no perfectionism allowed. We're just going with the flow, which is also, why I recommend always using a pen and not a pencil. So when we use a pencil, we just focus on our mistakes and we want to erase them. So using a pen actually gets rid of that. We put the mark down and we have to just, go with what we put down. Let's go ahead and make a double of this same shape. So we're just going to repeat this shape around. Just make it come up a little bit higher. So start in the same place. Make the line come up and around. So kind of the same shape, just coming up a little bit higher or taller than the one underneath it. And as you make these bigger shapes and as you get further out in the mandala, it really is much easier to turn your paper as you make shapes. And let's see, last one here. And what I didn't do this time is bring over my iPad so I could do a time check. So I have, right after this, I have to run down to my neighborhood sing-along to record it. So I have to keep track of time. Let's see, what are we gonna do next? Let's make just a little, what we're gonna be doing is making kind of a circle behind this, flower shape. But what I want you to do is just focus on one little part at a time. So we're just gonna make a line, a not so straight line, between these 2 points here. So just make a little line. We can all do that, it's really easy. Just a line that's not very straight. I mean, who draws straight lines anyway? And do that in between each petal, at just about the same spot on each one. And we'll continue that around. And I'm trying not to spin the thing too quickly. It can really get motion sick when I spin it too quick around in a video. And then when we've made all those lines in little pieces, which is very easy and manageable, at the end we have a whole circle that's going behind there. So to where if you think about separately making a circle that goes around, it's just, it seems like way too difficult. I can't do that. But if you think about it in each little section, then suddenly it's, it becomes completely manageable, easy, and not something to worry about. Let's see, I'm going to let's do some long, skinny sort of leaf shapes in between here. So just starting in the middle of where we made that, I'm just gonna make some skinny leaf shapes. And sometimes these will be a little wobbly, so they'll kind of shoot off to the side a little bit, just because it's really hard to judge exactly where, center is going straight out. But again, we're not worried about that at all. When we finish our mandala, you won't even notice those little weird things that are happening inside. All right, let's see, one more, and then what are we going to do? let's, shall we, you know what I want to do is I want to take, let's just make it a circle. I'm going to put just like a circle on the outside. So just, you know, like a third of the way down or something. Just make a circle going around this shape. And these, you know, might come out wonky. Nobody can draw a perfect circle. Again, don't even worry about that. There we go. And then, let's see. Oh, you know what I want to do? Let's make, and we're getting a little complicated here, let's make kind of an inverted triangle, but going inward. So this is what it's going to be. We're just going to take from the center of, you know, the sides of the circle, and let's make ourselves a little guide point. So just like a little dot right, you know, above the top of this chubby triangle here. And then we're going to make a triangle with the lines kind of just going a little bit concave. So make a little guide point, and you can make a guide point for each section if that makes it easier, more comfortable for you, or you can just totally freehand it. It is up to you. And a couple more. And so again, just making these, you know, really just simple lines, one at a time, we end up with a shape that looks quite complicated. But just breaking it down into individual lines and shapes, it becomes much easier. And I think that's, you know, one of the things that also that keeps the mandalas really mindful is this kind of breaking things down into like little pieces. So you have just, you know, repeating the same shapes around and around, but then they come in to make a whole. Oh, and also this is our intention mandala. So let's take our focus back into the center where we drew our shape for our intention, and that will bring our focus back to our intention. So we can just, you know, refocus on that, just, you know, run it through our head again and continue on with our mandala. So we just keep glancing back into the center at our shape, and that will just reinforce that intention, reinforce that thought, and remind us to keep conscious of it as we're making the mandala. All right, let's see. What are we going to make next? Let's do, all right, let's make another little chubby triangle going up here. So we're going to start from where, you know, these lines meet there, and we're going to come up just a little ways. And that's like the triangle with just the lines going just bowed out, convex, if you prefer, a little bit. I'll make my little guide point there, bringing it up and down. Does anybody have any questions? Everybody doing okay? Is anybody drawing along with me today, or just hanging out and watching? All right. Hello, Maya. There we go. And so see how just, you know, again, making these separate lines comes together to make a much more complex shape. So we really have that. And I'm going to turn this paper. And that's one other thing in turning your paper, because if you, like if I'm drawing this line up, so I see my wrist is in a certain position, and I draw this line up, If I do it this way, I have to turn my wrist, and that becomes very difficult. It's like not natural for my fingers to do this. But if I turn my paper, then my hand hasn't moved. I'm making almost the exact same shape coming down. And so it will help these lines look a lot better, more symmetrical, usually a lot smoother. You can see a couple of these where I was kind of, trying to do it wrong, came out wobbly. So that will help a lot in getting your lines to look better. Because even though, we're not making high art and we're not worried about being perfectionists and things like that, it's still nice to have a mandala at the end that we love to look at and could, want to keep or give as gifts or use as a coloring page. These make great coloring pages too. And give me 1 second. Let me just get my iPad here so I can make sure I keep track of time. It's buried underneath a stack of papers that I was sketching on. All my mermaids for Mermay. Let's see, 5:47. Okay, we got a little bit. So let's see. Let's go ahead. Let's make another little chubby triangle thing. So just going like, quarter or third of the way down. And we'll make this one be a bit bigger. So let's make another guide point up there. And again, just making the kind of just bowed out lines a little bit. And let's see. Remember to bring our attention back periodically to our shape in the middle to remind ourselves and reinforce our intention that we've set. There we go. A couple more. And then after I do this, maybe we'll do some filling in. Have just enough time to get some decoration going inside of here. All right, last one. There we go. And then you can just, even continue these out if you want. Just make several more rows of these little chubby triangle petal shapes, and that will just make it look like a really nice big bloom. It's really, really pretty. So you can continue that even after we're done with the video. Let's see. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just draw a little like half line and a couple of dots. Can you see that? And just as kind of like a little simple filler for these skinny shapes. Sometimes it's hard to think of things to put in these little tiny skinny shapes. All right, I'm not going to fill them all in just for time's sake. You can go and finish it off after this, but just so I can show you more things in the time, I'll just partially fill them, fill part of them in. I don't know, so whatever. You know what I mean. Let's see. You know what I want to do? I want to take inside of our circles, draw another little circle. So just around the tip, very tip of this shape, we'll just draw another little circle. And you know what I want to do inside of that is I want to actually take and make little petals around that little shape. So do you see what I'm doing there? Just making almost like a little flower inside of that circle. Just with little teeny tiny petals. And sometimes if you have a thicker pen, it's kind of hard to do this type of detail. So don't worry about it, or just wait until you get a thinner tipped pen. Let's see, let's make some little lines going in these two. And on this one, I'm using the lift line. Remember focus on our shape or our intention. We can bring our minds back to our intention that we set. And that's one really good thing about having that in the center is every time you glance at it, it reminds you to repeat the intention and to think about it again. So that's really what's helpful about especially having a particular shape that you've associated with it. Because as soon as you see that shape again, since you really focused on association with that intention, it immediately reminds you to refocus on your intention going forward. Okay, so the line that I'm doing here is a lift line. So we have the same pattern. We start, draw, but instead of stopping, we lift. So start, lift. And that will just give us, it's hard to see on this line because it's really tiny. I understand that, I'm sorry. I'll do it again on a different one. But that will just give us a more organic kind of line because it tapers off at the end a lot. Let me show you on, let's make some leaves. So here I'm going to, so I start, I draw, and I lift. Start, draw, lift. And see how it gets that really tapered in there? It just really makes it look nice and organic and more like a leaf. And so same thing, we're still focusing on our lines, but we're just, instead of a stop point, we're having a lift point. So start, draw, lift. And again, this is, just to keep our mind really focused on our line work so we stay mindful and we don't, our mind doesn't wander. I am having trouble talking today. Our mind doesn't wander and we start thinking about other things, which tends to happen when we doodle and things like that. That's why these mandalas are so much better than just like a normal doodle, because doodles are meant to kind of have your mind wander, right? But these mandalas are meant to keep your mind in the task so that it stays a very mindful and meditative exercise. Let me see, time check. Okay, I probably should wrap it up. Okay, so that is it for today. Again, this will be saved in the folder with that's called DAMM videos, and I've also been uploading these to YouTube if anybody likes to watch the YouTube channel and do them from that. Sometimes that's easier to find. Just subscribe to me on YouTube, and if you hit the little bell thing, you'll get notified every time I throw another one up, and that's sometimes easier than trying to sift through Facebook and find them. But also share this video. I would love for you to share, just to reach as many people as possible, and allow them to learn to make these meditative mandalas and or just mandalas in general, or just watch me. It's very relaxing, also to just watch drawing videos. So yeah, that is. I think that we're good. Thank you all for hanging out with me, and I will see you at DAMM time tomorrow. Okay. Oh, and I've been doing studio time in the mornings about 11:30. So hop on about 11:30 Central Time to just chit chat with me about whatever pops into my head at the time. Anyway, you are welcome, Rebecca. Were you making along with me, or were you just watching and you'll make it later? Okay, I am out of here. I gotta go do my my neighborhood sing along. All right, everybody. I will chat with you later. Mwah. Bye-bye.